Hello everyone, it's Turin here, and welcome to the third game between Pippington and Viking Cat 91 in the Total Warhammer Cup Finals. So in this match, it looks like we're going to be seeing a Vampire Counts versus Greenskin showdown. So actually there aren't any Banshees, but we do have some Cairn Wraiths. So the Vampire Counts definitely going to be taking advantage of the Greenskin weakness to ethereal units. So first, let's begin by taking a look at the Vampire Counts army. So in the front line, they do appear to have several groups of zombies. It looks like 1, 2, though we do not see the tithe, so we're not going to be big and fancy here, but zombies are decent fodder against the Greenskins. Black Orcs will take forever to cut through these guys. Granted, if they have like Biggins or Savage Orcs or units like that, they will be able to get through this unit density very, very quickly. Backing up the zombies and kind of the meat of the front line are these Cairn Wraiths. So as you guys know, and you've probably seen in pretty much all Vampire Counts versus Greenskin replays, is that Greenskins really struggle against Cairn Wraiths and ethereal units like Banshees. So if they do have like Azag the Slaughter with Spirit Leech or Fate Abuna, they can do an okay job at getting through these guys, but generally speaking, it's very, very difficult for the Greenskins to kill these. On top of that, he does have his armor piercing in the back line. Not to say that the Cairn Wraiths, well, the Cairn Wraiths do pretty good AP as well. So he has kind of double trouble armor piercing. So he does have the Cryptors in the back, which are very good at dealing with Black Orcs. And on top of that, they're very quick. So if, you know, a Greenskin Lord is kind of nearby, they can push through infantry and can really tear those guys apart. So they have the 30 melee attack with the poison, but more importantly, their weapon strength is a big juicy 70. In the back, he does also have the Mortis Engine, which I'm a big fan of. Granted, the Greenskins do actually have a missile presence that can deal with a Mortis Engine. With the Orc Airboys and Savage Orc Airboys and the Rusty Airs and all those type of units, they can poke it down, but still, it is tough to deal with, especially when you have like the Red Duke or any other flying Vampire Lord flying over you and dropping zombies on top of your head. On the sides of his army, he does have the Skeleton Spear, so one group here and one group here, which I pretty much do in every single build because Skeleton Spears, especially against Greenskins, can pretty much fend off Orc Boars if you're really on top of it. Granted, the Orc Boars might slip past you, but the Skeleton Spears can then collapse. And, you know, Orc Boars, let's go ahead and take a look at some of their stats over here. I think we can mouse over. So those are Orc Biggins. And let's see if he has any Orc Boars over here we can kind of take a look at. So their melee defense is only 18. So even the very low melee attack of Skeleton Spears, which is 14, is almost enough to just get through that melee defense pretty efficiently. So in the back, he does have two groups of Black Knights and the Varix Reaver, so not looking to win a cav engagement. Rather, I think he's looking to just collapse very heavily on top of the missile line of the Greenskins. So for his Lord, he does have the Red Duke with Invocation of Nehek as well as Raise Dead, and I think he actually has some sort of a potion. Let's go ahead and take a look. So yes, he does have the Potion of Speed. So he's probably looking to either get away or maybe just try and goon one of those Greenskin Lords and really make sure he's not going to get away after he casts Elseef. So Elseef is a very strong ability that's unique to the Red Duke. It does give negative 48% speed, 22% physical resist, and lowers their melee defense by 60. So Wulfric the Wanderer is probably going to have, he does have a very similar ability to this. So in having the speed potion, he's really trying to make sure that he can keep up with the target once he Elseefs it. He does also have a Vampire with Shadows, and it looks like he just brought this for the Smoke and Mirrors to give his entire army the 6% move speed. So that's going to make his cav over here in the back a little bit faster, putting their move speed up to 81. So definitely some fancy tactics going on. So now let's look at Viking Cat's Greenskin army. So over here, he does have some Orc Boars on the flank. So one group here, and I think he just has two groups right now. For his infantry core, he appears to have Black Orcs mixed in with some Night Goblins. Just the Unbreakable unit, which is obviously any Unbreakable unit that's just going to stay and fight against the Vampire Counts is probably pretty useful. In the back, he does have the Rusty Airs backed up by some Orc Airboys here, more Orc Airboys, so a whole bunch of them. He actually has 4 groups. So I've seen a lot of people opt to get the Savage Orc Airboys because they do have Frenzy, hence being immune to psychology, and they can also beat the hell out of the zombies a little bit quicker, but Orc Airboys still have, you know, what is their melee attack? 23, and their weapon strength in melee is 34, so still, they're going to be able to beat down zombies pretty quick. In the flanks, he does have some Orc Biggins, kind of helping with their anti-large bonus. For his Lord, this is a bit of a dangerous pick, for sure. Having a Night Goblin Warboss, granted, it will be slippery, it does have potions, it has decent speed, but Night Goblins are very squishy and their leadership is quite low. So if the Vampires try and goon this guy, like, he could go down pretty quick. But again, it can be an effective tool if used correctly. He does have a Night Goblin Shaman here with the Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stealin', which is huge against Vampire Counts. It's a must. It really helps to mitigate the zombie spam as well as the Invocation of Nehek. So without further ado, guys, let's get this battle a-rolling. So it looks like the Greenskins are just kind of squaring up here on the hill. Obviously, the Vampire Counts not having any range are probably usually going to be the aggressors, the ones bringing the pressure. So we'll fast forward a little bit just so you guys don't have to sit and stare at that. So you can see on the far side, the Black Knights as well as the Varix Reavers are positioning, and they are going to be supported by the Red Duke. So the Orc Boars are a pretty good counter to Black Knights. Like head-to-head, the Orc Boars with their anti-large and armor piercing will be able to beat Black Knights 1-to-1. However, if the Red Duke like flies on top of the Orc Boars as they're fighting and then summons zombies, it really mitigates the combat effectiveness of these Orc Boar Biggins over here. So The Black Orcs are forming up in the front line, but man, this is a really thin line from the Vampire Counts. Granted, I think he's going to be able to get away with it because, number one, the Mortis Engine is going to heal the Cairn race at a rate that the Black Orcs and Biggins probably won't be able to, out damage. So they're probably going to have to wait for those healing caps or, kill them through crumbling. So this is a really nasty synergy against the Greenskins. Having these guys here, because when the Black Orcs hit them, they do like barely any HP damage. So the Mortis Engine, if it's able to sit near these Cairn rates for most of the battle, I can't see those Black Orcs getting through those guys in any sort of expedient manner. So 3 groups of Black Orcs in the front. They're just kind of posturing up here, getting ready to intercept. And you can see the Black Knights trying to find a pocket, but he does have this Goblin Big Boss, these Biggins, as well as these Orc Boars over here. So a lot of resources dedicated to those guys, but you can see the Red Duke is flying over, doing a little bit of scouting. He does take quite a bit of fire, but he does summon some zombies down here in the pits who are going to, start fighting these Orc Air Boys. But the Orc Air Boys, if they choose to fight, will do pretty well, whereas the Rusty Airs will not. They do not have that same kind of melee stats as the Orc Archers do. Over here, you can see the Cryptors are already taking quite a bit of damage, so this is a very, very good situation for the Greenskins over here. They're going to be peppering these guys, and Cryptors, this is definitely, as you guys know, the hard counter to Cryptors is missile pressure, and just look how hard they go down. They're already wavering, or I should say critical binding. Their leadership is so poor, and they just got dumpstered so incredibly hard. So very, very well played by the Greenskins taking those guys down. But you can see the battle is underway, and the Cairn race have engaged with the Black Orcs. So the Black Orcs are going to put up a pretty good fight against these guys in terms of durability. They'll stay and fight. They're immune to psychology, so they're not going to get terror routed. But at the end of the day, they probably will lose, especially with all these other Cryptors and other units kind of beating on them here. So the Black Orcs have engaged, and you can see they've already taken quite a bit of shot combat. You can see a nice Invocation of Nehet going off on those Cairn race, which is going to mitigate all of the damage they've taken. And just look how badly beaten these Black Orcs have been already. 53 models here, and this other group's at 58. But you can see here the Black Knights do sneak in through the flank and get on the back of these Orc Arrow Boys. But you can see the Orc Boars, unfortunately, they didn't intercept them, so it looked like he was probably busy microing in the front line. If they'd been able to intercept those Black Knights, it would have mitigated so much of this problem, because the Black Knights have gotten into the back line right now, and you can also see the Red Duke dropping that fancy zombie summon right here. And the Black Knights are just going to cycle through to the front line and charge into the back of some of these Black Orcs, and then they're just going to peace out. So those Orc Boar Boy Biggins are going to get a few kills here, but it's going to be nothing devastating. And you can see he overcommitted. He sent everything. So he has mashed up troops all going after this one group, and in the back he does have this Varix Reavers coming around. Though it looks like he does quickly react with these Orc Biggins and is hopefully going to be able to intercept these guys. So the Varix Reavers are charging down the hill, and they're going to charge into the Biggins here, but Biggins with an anti-large bonus and really good combat stats are probably going to be able to beat these guys and sustain combat. So it really depends on how long he stays with these Varix Reavers. So the Biggins intercept, and you can see he immediately turns around, and he didn't do too much damage, actually. The charge there didn't really do any damage, actually, at all to those guys. So very well played by both players reacting. In the back line, you can see the Mortis Engine is actually going after the Night Goblin Warboss. So he does get a Scroll of Shielding, Potion of Foolhardiness, all that other stuff. But the Red Duke is in here. He has casted Elsif, and he has his Vampire Girlfriend, who's helping to kind of beat down this Night Goblin Warboss. And you can see he's trying to escape, but he just keeps getting mucked from zombies. And look, he's so close to escaping, then all of a sudden the Red Duke summons a whole nother group of units to muck him down. So very, very well played by Pippington here, blocking those guys and kind of trapping this Night Goblin Warboss. But in the back, the Greenskins still have a lot of stuff. So they have some Orc Boars over here. He has some Biggins over here in the back. And these Black Knights have been caught by some of these Orc Boars, but in a 2v1 situation, even though it is an advantageous fight for the Orc Boars, I think the Black Knights and the Varix Reavers are simply just going to overwhelm these guys, because they are still very squishy. You can see their HP going down quick. Not as quick as this group of Black Knights, but still quick nonetheless. So these Biggins need to get back in the fight like ASAP. They need to go help plug up this kind of this pocket that's completely collapsed. And you can see this other group of Black Knights has gotten in here and it's just raining terror down. There's zombies running everywhere, and the Orc missile line has been so heavily compromised. And one of the big issues with this battle, I think, is the fact that the Night Goblin Warboss was not able to hang and really help his troops. The Red Duke has been very active, and his Vampire have been very active. They go where they please, they do as they please. They've been killing high-value targets, protecting this Mortis Engine. But, the Night Goblin Warboss was kind of just running the whole time and having to pop potions and wasn't able to make a really impactful difference on the, the battle. So in the front, you can see the Black Orcs still continuing to fight. The Cairn race, just look at how much damage they've taken. This is over a long battle, and the zombies just mucking up these Black Orcs who've only gotten 29 kills. You can see the Fanatics coming through and tearing into some of those zombies, which is a very cool, actually probably pertinent ability in this matchup. But regardless, the Black Orc's very, very ineffective against these Cairn race. In the back, he is going to get a charge with some of these Orc Boars who are going to get a little bit of charge point against some of these zombies, which is always fun to see. You guys, you got to always give them a little bit of slow motion. The boys deserve it. So they get a nice rear charge here, and this is exactly what he needs to be doing. So very, very well played by the Greenskins here, getting a nice rear charge, bringing the very low leadership of those Cairn race down to the negatives almost. So it looks at -1, it's at 5, it just keeps teetering, -7. So he really needs to get those guys crumbling. That's probably one of the only chances he'll have here. So the Mortis Engine is going to push into the back of these Black Orcs, and you can see a nice itchy nuisance going down to counteract that. Some of the Orc missile lines appear to have come back online. Let's see if we can find any. But it looks like over here we do have some Orc Airboys. The Night Goblin Warboss, unfortunately, is being chased off by a lowly Vampire. So very, very rough situation for the Greenskins, as they are a faction that, you know, has relatively low leadership. So losing your Lord like that is very rough. You can also see the Red Duke over here just being a complete menace and shutting down the Rusty Arrows. And missiles are what the Greenskins need to really turn the tide of this battle. Their infantry corps is not going to be able to keep up with and kill a Mortis engine, so he really needs something to pepper these guys down. In the back, he has 19 Black Orcs over here, 33 Orc Airboys coming back online, a very healthy group of Biggins who are over-chasing these Black Knights a little bit, and unfortunately the rest of his missiles are probably going to be run down by these Varix Reavers, and these zombies are just going to tarp it the last of these guys. But these pigs are going in, they're pretty hog wild, trying to get their last stand here, and you can actually see a few of those Varix Reavers going down, so a very good last stand by those Orc Boars. And you can see some of these Biggins. If they collapse on these guys, that would be really good, but unfortunately they look to, were they pathing after the zombies there? I don't think so, but anyways, the Orc Boars kind of just got run over. There's only like a couple left, like 6. So very, very tough situation nonetheless. And for somehow, some way, this Night Goblin is still alive. So the Red Duke is still he's just been hopping around, poor little guy on his squig this entire time. He's probably getting exhausted now, just having run and just taking a beating this whole fight. You can see Foe Seeker is popped by the Red Duke, and he's going to be definitely catching this guy in just a moment, who's at -5 leadership. So not giving him a chance to breathe. So if we look at the overarching battle, it's pretty heavily favoring the Vampire counts, and the Red Duke, for some reason, letting this little guy live, but it looks like no, he is indeed coming in for the kill, and he does unnecessarily pop that Potion of Speed just to make for an extra dramatic kill here, so he's lurking up in the sky somewhere, and he's going to come down and just snatch this poor Night Goblin Warboss up. So one more Prison Shank should put him down here, and down he goes. So very well played by the Squig. It tried its best. It's on its little 2 legs. Feel so bad for that guy, but over in the main fight, you can see the Mortis engine and the rest of the Cairn race. I mean, even after this long battle, there's still 29 Cairn race. And the Greenskin main line, as you guys will see in the breakdown screen, was so much stronger than the Vampire counts in terms of just cost. So in the front line, 3 Black Orcs, you got Biggins, you got all kinds of stuff, and pretty much he just had 2 Cairn race and 2 zombies. And granted, the Cryptors were there, but still, I feel like the Vampire counts got a pretty good bang for their buck from these Cairn race. Granted, the Greenskins, Viking Cat 91, did a really good job of taking down those Cryptors. So very well played by Viking Cat. Despite having his backline compromised and just swarmed with like 3 groups of Black Knights, he was able to really effectively kill those Cryptors and essentially make them, 27 kills. It's really bad. So, but yeah, well played to both Pippington CC as well as Viking Cat 91. So that was the 3rd game in the series of 5. Granted, I don't have the first game, so you guys will have to go back and look and see who won the first game so we can figure out who won the series. But guys, we're going to be getting into our 4th and final game that I will be casting here soon. So guys, thanks again for watching. Have an excellent night and take care.